Family systems in pop culture. My family today that I'm going to be talking about is Jacob's family. Jacob's family is a family where he was in love with um, Rachel, a young girl he saw. Um, he worked for his father 7 years, and when those 7 years came, he was strict and he was given Leah instead. And this is because they don't give the youngest girl before the oldest, so they couldn't break their culture. He had a problem that because he was in love with Rachel and he was given Leah in the night of the marriage. In the night of the marriage, he was he had to work 7 more years for Rachel, the girl that he loved. He needed to break this pattern by forgiving each other and having open communication in his families. And this is because he had preference in wife. When he was a young person, he was the favorite son with his mother Rebecca and Isaac because he was the youngest child. His mother has given him more a better treatment than his oldest brother who used to work in the field. Jacob used to be in the house around his family, around his mother, and his mother seems to have a favoritism towards him, and he happened to see this repeated pattern in his family. So we're going to help Jacob break his system by talking about his family background. Jacob was Jacob tricked his brother Esau at the previous year, and his pattern was repeating in his family, in his life by other people. We see a pattern. We see triangulation in the Jacob's family. He needed to break the pattern by repenting and facing his relationship with his oldest brother. He had 12 children, and he saw the pattern repeated again in one of his sons, who he had favoritism later on his life, where he gave him um a robe of multiple colors, and his siblings felt intimidated by Joseph and saw that his father Jacob had favoritism towards Joseph because he was also son of his favorite wife, Rachel, the wife that he loved more. So he was experiencing the favoritism, the same pattern that he had done in his marriage. Later on, he sees that the siblings are coming against Joseph because they see the favoritism. He lived this also when he was a young person with his brother Esau, um, who after he took the blessing of the birthright by his mom um, advice, he saw his oldest brother coming against him um, and wanting to kill him. The same thing happened to one of his sons. So he's like, I don't know what to do because now like he's thinking that Joseph is dead, and he didn't know like before he knew that the brothers are coming at Joseph because he thinks that Jacobs is sending him to get news and check on his brothers, and so, but Jacob was ignoring that there were rivalism between the brothers and there was some tension happening. So we see this pattern now. We see the triangulation that when the mother tells Jacob to take the blessing of the birthright from Isaac, his husband that belongs to Esau, the oldest brother, Esau finds out and wants to kill Jacob. So the mother brings another person in their life, which is the uncle Laban. So Esau don't take Jacob's life. So we see also a pattern and a triangulation, and we see Jacob as his own mediator when Jacob worked for his uncle Laban for 7 years because of he loved Rachel. And when the 7 years came up, he was giving Leah instead, making a relationship, a triangular relationship, when they added another person in the relationship. He had to become his mediator for himself because he needed to speak up. He needed to have communication. He needed to say um, the way he was thinking, the way he was feeling. So he had favoritism with Rachel because he loved her. He wasn't treating Leah right, although he had another servant. Also, he had with him. Then with his son Joseph, he also had favoritism, and he gave him the rub of multiple colors that his brother wanted to kill him. And this is repeating his father's story, like he was repeating Isaac's story in his life, because or Rebecca's story in his life, because he had favoritism with one of his son and one of his wife. Now we see that this is a centripetal family, as I can understand and analyze. Even though the family had their dysfunctionalities, they made sure to stay together, to stay close to each other, and work with each other to fix what was wrong. Jacob was able to speak with Laban and said that what he was going through, or the deal that he had done, wasn't the correct one, or wasn't what he agreed with. And even though the family had, it was a family of blessing, also had discord, envy, and resentment, but they worked to stay together. They worked to stay together and close to each other's. Jacob is also a hero. We see that even though he had two wives, two servants who gave him children, I see a hero in this family. I don't know if he see a hero of him, but he managed to survive, and he managed to keep this family together, even though of the dysfunctionalities and the difference that they have, the discord, the envy, the resentment, the rivalities that they have on each other's and between each other's, the tensions. They managed to stay together. He managed to show love between each other's, between the children's, and although they didn't mingle together in most of the time, he was in peace. And this is because after he came across his oldest brother Esau and broke the pattern of rivalry and tension, so his children won't go through the same situation that happened to him. They were able to stay together. So he was a hero. He stayed, like, he saved his family and he saved the relationship. So my advice to change this family system is that Jacob and his family will be able to break the family system by having open communication with each other in order to fix what's causing them tensions, and in order to heal rivalities between brothers and sisters, and even with the two wives and servants, because there was rivalry and tension between their wives and the servants that gave him children. He needs to break the favoritism. He needs to break the way that he chooses one from another and treat them equally and in a balance. That's what's causing him to have a family dysfunction at this time.